What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Before we start, subscribe to this channel, please. Rate us, give us likes and comments, turn on your notifications. We are here for a new series titled Tuesday's 2-Minute Warning, where we will cover 4 topics about 2 minutes each, 2-minute warning style, national topics, not just related to OU football or OU sports. So here we go. We'll keep an eye on the clock, Jay. I'll hit you with the first topic here. We want you, our viewers, to drop your comments on each of the 4 topics in the comments below. Tonight, we're going to talk about Lincoln Riley. We're going to talk about the sign stealing that's going on in college football. We're going to talk about baseball with the 2-3-2 format. And we're going to round it out with a little Thunder Hoops NBA beginning tonight. So, Jay, here we go. Let's start with Lincoln Riley and what's going on in USC.
We've been there before. We've heard the same story, and here it is again. The fact they lose again 2 games in a row, and then he says no media for the players after the game. Okay, that's just you can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't do that. You let them talk to the media every other game, but when they lose and they're struggling, let's not let them talk. That's childish. It's kind of, I hate to say it, it's kind of the way he coaches, pansy and scared. Defensively, that's what they are. They're soft, and I hate to say it, but he's pretty soft if you're not going to let your players talk to the media. And now he's been sick for a few days. Just saw something on Twitter. They're trying to he's at home resting, and maybe Kingsbury's going to be the coach right now. I don't know what's going on. It's a debacle. It's going to continue to be a debacle.
Yeah, and look, I don't want to speculate too much, but the fact that they're maybe looking at bringing Kingsbury in and they're having to get confirmation on kind of how they're going to do that. The wording of that tweet was they're having to wait on what was the word on that tweet?
With the compliance.
Compliance. They have to meet with compliance. And that's because analysts are only allowed there's restrictions when it's an analyst. Cliff Kingsbury is technically an analyst on USC, so there are some restrictions. But what that does tell me, if that tweet is accurate, is Lincoln Riley may be out a little bit of time. I don't know what to think of this.
It's weird.
It'll be interesting how it plays out.
It's weird because I'm not saying he's not sick. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if he's sick or not. Yeah. But just the history, I mean, and right after another loss, it's not a good time to be sick. Let's just say that.
It's not, and we'll see what happens. Pay attention there with the Cliff Kingsbury maybe being on the sideline this week. We'll see how that plays out. Moving on. Next topic. Make sure you drop your guys' comments in here about these topics. The stealing signs is pretty much all over national media with Michigan and what's happening there. Is it an unwritten rule? What's going on? Let's talk about that for a couple of minutes.
Well, they're definitely breaking the rules if you're sending somebody to scout other teams. That's against the rules to do that. So I've heard a lot of coaches today in the last few days talk about, well, even Dion today. Well, it doesn't matter if they mail you their playbook or not. You still have to stop it. Okay, but did anybody ever play Tecmo Bowl? On Tecmo Bowl, if you guessed the right play, it was pretty much you're going to get them for a loss. And here's the thing. I don't think it affects offensively that much. I really don't, because I think defense adjusts to the way you line up. But on defense, if you know it's a run or a pass or whatever, it makes a difference. It makes a difference the way you play your defense. And so if that's happening, and I don't know what's going to happen, probably a slap on the wrist for whatever, but you just can't be sending people out to scout that way if that's what's happening.
Yeah, I don't think much is going to happen with Michigan, although it should. Harbaugh claims that he knows nothing and has been talked about, not talked about it, and didn't know anything about this. But if you see there's some footage of maybe some guys showing some things to him, and I don't know. I don't think he's totally unscathed and has no earthly idea this is happening. Now, I also think this happens a whole lot of places. It's just they've kind of been caught.
Well, it happens, but I don't think it happens to the extent of sending out scouts. That's where it's different. And also, maybe I heard Matt Rule. I think this is a great point. He's coaching NFL. Got to get where the quarterbacks have audio in their helmets, and you can do that. You don't have to do all these other signs. right? That would help things. I know it's a big deal. I saw something today about it has to do with the helmet manufacturers because warranties are yeah. So it's
Something
big.
needs to be done, or it's going to continue to get worse. We know
Yep.
that stealing signs did not start in the NFL because just a few years ago, the Houston Astros were caught uh, stealing signs and signals in baseball. What do you think of the format? Texas wins in 7 last night, but the format is 2-3-2 home field. It's almost like the lower seed almost has, I guess you could say, a little bit of advantage. You do know in the Texas Houston series, no home team won any of those games.
Why?
So are we talking too much about it? But the 2-3-2 format, Jay, fan or no?
I've never been a fan of the 2-3-2. Personally, I like 2-2-1-1-1. I don't think you can do that earlier on in the playoffs, but I think for the World Series and same in, I think for the World Series it needs to be 2-2-1-1-1. I think you can do the travel, spread it out a little bit, and do that. That's my personal opinion. I agree with you, Jeremy. Now it could be if 2-3-2. If you split that first game as a road team, you got a big advantage because you only got to win 2 out of 3 at home, and you're up 3-2 going back.
Well, where I would disagree, Jay, is you can't spread it out too much in baseball because then what it becomes is whoever has the 2 best pitchers wins the series because you could spread the games out and these guys can go on 3 days rest and if you don't have 2 studs, you're not going to win. Whereas the way it is now, I mean, you got to have more than just 2 pitchers.
That's true. I mean, it is tough with the travel. If you have a West Coast and East Coast, that would be tough to do. But I like.
Who do you got tonight? Phillies?
Phillies tonight for sure. They win.
I agree. Phillies tonight. I think they win in 7. I think
Phillies win the whole thing.
Yeah, drop your comments, guys, what you think about the 2-3-2, who you got in the World Series. But we got one more topic here, Jay.
NBA's back tonight.
NBA's back.
Jeremy, what are you thinking? And viewers, Thunder. First off, playoffs or not, Jeremy?
Definitely playoffs.
Top 4, bottom 4 of the West, or below.
Oh well, I'm gonna actually say that the Thunder's gonna finish in the top 4. That is with a healthy Thunder team. I think they can be top 4. I think Dagnall's probably the best coach they've had there, honestly. And with the crew they got coming in, combination of youngsters with the talent that they've already had built around and just the role players they have, I think top 4 is not out of the realm of possibility this season.
Yeah, I would agree. I think they're going to finish. I would pick right at 4. That's kind of where I would pick. I think they're going to be that 4 or 5. I would go 4. But doesn't this remind you a little bit of when it started with Durant, Westbrook, and Harden? With the talent they have there with Shea, Chet, Giddey, Jay Will. I mean, Dort. They got some young talent, and the NBA notices. They notice they're coming, and they're coming to dominate. I think they're going to have a great year. They may finish even higher than that, Jeremy. They got the talent. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2-way players. You got offense and defense all across the board, but it's going to be exciting NBA. It's a good time of year when you got baseball, World Series and playoffs. You got college football. You got college basketball getting ready to ramp up. You have the NBA starting. This is NHL. There's every sport pretty much is in session right now. So great time to be a sports fan. We want you to drop your comments here in the comment section about Lincoln Riley, about the baseball series, about stealing signs, and about the Thunder. Where do you have the Thunder this season? So drop them in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed to the Sooner Surge. We'll do this every Tuesday, a little 2-minute warning, Tuesday topics as we go and proceed out through the year. So, again, thanks for being part of the Sooner Surge. Till next time, guys. Boomer.
Sooner.